Minecraft. It's one of the most popular and classical games that have ever been released. Now, Minecraft speedrunning has been rising in its popularity for quite a few years, and has evolved tremendously since I started running it back in literally 2020. So many things have changed over the years, so I thought it would help the community if I made a video series showing exactly how to speedrun this game, showcase every single strategy to the best of my knowledge, as well as the reasoning behind them. If you're just getting into speedrunning Minecraft for the first time, then this video is for you. Also, for those of you watching that are interested in Minecraft Ranked, all of these strategies I'll be covering will also be applicable for that. So for you future ranked grinders, we'll be talking about everything. Starting to speedrun this game can be a daunting task, given all of the mods and setup and countless things you need to learn. But I want this series to make the game seem much more accessible to the broader community, because honestly, speedrunning this game is not that bad, nor is it extremely difficult, in my opinion. Also, just a disclaimer, this will be the first tutorial I've ever created on this channel, so if you enjoy content like this, I'd most certainly appreciate that like and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, setting up the Minecraft speedrun has a few steps, but it's not that complicated. We need a moddable instance of Minecraft, so what we'll use here is a launcher called MultiMC. Install it and log in with your Mojang account. This launcher essentially lets us create an instance of Minecraft for any version, so we'll create one for Minecraft version 1.16.1, the speedrun version that the community uses. If you're wondering, it's just purely because it's the fastest version of the game to date. Once the instance is installed, go ahead and click Edit Instance and click Install Fabric. Fabric is like Forge, a mod loader, and will allow us to place more mods into the game. Here's the list of mods. But it's not that bad. In the description of this video, there will be a link to the full list of mods. All you'll need to do is install each of these and just put them into the mods folder of the Minecraft instance we just created. To access this instance's Minecraft folder, you can just right click it and go there directly. If it doesn't already have a mods folder, just launch the game at least once with Fabric and it should generate. I'm not going to make this portion of the video that long, but these mods aren't hacks. They're mostly for game performance, improving things like the memory cleanup of the game, making code efficient, as well as improving your ability to speedrun. Alternatively, if you want this process to be more streamlined, I've also provided a link to install ModCheck, a program that allows you to just input your instance's path and install or update all of these mods that you select outright. The last thing you want to make sure is you install the latest version of Java. And when you click Edit Instance and go to Settings, you want to make sure you select that Java's installation path to be utilized in your instance. Allocating a good amount of RAM is also very beneficial to make your game run better. Lastly, the final thing you should do is go over to your Minecraft folder by right-clicking, open up this file known as options.txt, and here in this field where you see your gamma, set this to 5. Once your instance is loaded up, you can go through the settings for each of these mods to configure just how they work, as well as the hotkeys for all of them. I'll introduce a few of these mods. The Mod World Preview lets you see seeds as they load, giving you an ability to preemptively reset seeds based on an initial viewing. Seed Queue is a massive mod that allows you to load multiple of these seeds all at once, giving you a massive edge for speedrunning random seeds. Speedrun IGT is a configurable timer on your screen that you can customize at will, although the most important mod here to configure is the mod called StandardSettings. This is an incredible quality of life mod that, once configured in this menu, will make sure every time you load into a seed that your controls will always be set to what you want them to be right here. I like to play with specific hotkeys and I want to start games with the same render distance, FOV, as well as other things, so I do all of that here. There are more optimizations you can make on your own, so I encourage serious players to research a bit on how to optimize your seed queue mod in particular. To do this, launch your game once, go to your instance, edit it, and go to your logs. Click Upload at the top right, and you'll receive a pastebin link containing your instance's information. Go to the Seed Queue Mods official Discord, and in this commands channel, type recommended settings and paste your link you just got right here. You'll immediately be given many recommendations for settings for your seed queue, as well as recommended RAM settings and a Java argument that you should copy and paste here in your instance's settings page. All of these recommendations are fine-tuned based on your computer's specs, so that's how you know that these steps will ensure that you play the game as smoothly as possible. Also, if you're interested in Minecraft Speedrun Ranked, this is where you simply put in the Ranked mod and boot up the Ranked client and start going ham. To summarize, Minecraft Ranked is a fan-made overhauled client mod that allows players to queue and 1v1 each other on seeds with standardized RNG, meaning all components of the seed from mob drops to item trades are the same for both players. Pretty fancy display of skill, so do try it out and support the developers. Once all of your mods seem to load and work, and you can reset a few seeds, it's time to start learning, shall we? The game of Minecraft begins in the Overworld, which will be the main focus of this first tutorial video. There are lots of Overworld possibilities, some good, some bad, some fantastic, and some that are straight up unplayable. In this segment, we'll go over every single Overworld possibility and explain each type of seed, how to play them, and tips and tricks to assist you. The first thing we need to understand is what a speedrunner wants from any overworld. What we need from an overworld is at least 7 iron, either on its own or a combination with an iron pickaxe or bucket or flint and steel. Obviously you need flint for the flint and steel. This is obtained from gravel with a 1 in 10 chance. Food is very preferable. The more you have, the more you can take damage and heal in your speedrun. Wood is also massively important. We'll need it until the end of the run actually, at least around 15 to 18 planks worth. The last thing you need is a nether entry. Every single overworld has the same ideological purpose, to enter the nether. This can be done with either a surface lava pool or a magma ravine found in the ocean. Both spawn naturally and require scouting. So, for example, if your overworld lets you gain 7 iron, flint, food, and wood, and you have a lava pool or magma ravine, you can enter the nether and finish the overworld split. If you're playing ranked, then seeds are created such that you can always get these materials, but for random runs you'll need to investigate a bit more. If you don't get any of these materials that I listed, then you must reset the seed. That's really it, so let's finally get into the types of overworld seeds that offer these materials. So the first type of seed we're going to look at is a village seed. Villages in Minecraft have a variety of different buildings based on the biome it spawns in. For this, there are many. Villages in Minecraft spawn in plains, deserts, taigas, savannas, and snow biomes, each with their own set of unique differences. Whenever you spawn and find a village, the first thing you want to look for is the village's blacksmith. Every village has a chance at having a blacksmith house, which has a decent chance of containing iron, as well as other items like obsidian, which is extremely important to your run and should be taken at any chance. The Plains Village blacksmith is the most obvious one, with its stone slabs covering the top making it stand out. Other village blacksmiths look like these, which are kind of difficult to locate given their shape and color. Note their shapes and building design. The general way to play village seeds is to grab 2 logs and make your way to the blacksmith chest. If it has iron, great. If not, there's a good chance you want to reset the seed. Go straight to crafting your iron pickaxe and grab some stone. This is why desert and plains blacksmiths are great. They already have cobblestone accessible, although for a desert village you might want to grab logs before entering as trees aren't nearby in the desert. If you can't get stone right away, just dig down and get it directly. Make a couple stone tools with this stone and grab a bit more wood. Now here you have a couple choices to make. If a village's blacksmith doesn't give you enough iron, say you only got 3 or 4, then you want to find that village's iron golem. Iron golems are tough enemies, and you'll need to tower up 3 blocks specifically near them and not near any other ledges so they can hit you. Start jumping and critically striking them by jumping and timing a max charged hit with your falls. Iron golems drop 3 to 5 iron when they die. In ranked they always drop 4 by the way, helping you top off your iron mount. For food, plains, desert, and savanna villages contain hay bales, which when crafted down equate to 3 bread each. Massive food. For the other village types, you'll have to make do with food from chests. Also, if you run through a few houses and can grab a few beds along the way, these will come in handy. Beds are needed for the end of the run, after all. At this point, you should have decided where you'll be getting gravel from. Gravel is an interesting block that typically only spawns near rivers or very luckily in other places like caves or cliffs. Try to note the nearest river and make your way here after your village. Here's where the weakest part of village seeds lie, in the nether entry department. Usually for village seeds, the best nether entry is a lava pool, but these can be hard to find on the surface, meaning that you should only really play villages in my opinion if you kinda know that there's a lava pool nearby. For ranked seeds, there will always be a lava pool, but for random seeds, this isn't always the case. If you did happen to luckily find one, or had one going into the village, grab a water and make your way to the lava pool. Alright everybody, welcome to the first nether portal creation of this video, which will be a lava pool portal. Obviously you want to make sure you have your water bucket, a few blocks, well actually quite a bit of blocks, your flint and steel, and you can start going to town on this. So, the first thing you want to do is identify a side of the lava pool that has 4 blocks of lava on it. It's not necessary to do this, but it just makes it a bit more simple. So we'll go ahead and place 1 block in the 2 center blocks of this 4 on the side, place our water next to it, and then break the block we initially placed. This already creates the beginning foundation of the portal. Take your water back and place 2 blocks, 1 up from the setup on the left side of the stone, and on the right side here on this corner, you go 1, 2, 3. Then you place 1 block here into the portal. So essentially, this is kind of like the frame of where we let water create the portal. Once you place water here, at the top of this tower on the left of it, you will see that the water spreads naturally to cover all parts of the portal. Now, all that's left is to scoop your lava and create the portal. 2 up on each side, 2 at the top, and mine away any unnecessary blocks that are blocking the formation of the portal. Here, there's a couple stone at the bottom, so just mine away the couple stone, and then we can fill 2 buckets. Take away your water, grab another scoop of lava, and then you can enter the nether. Boom! Alternatively, if you don't find parts of the portal that have perfect 4 sides to it, you can always get a little bit creative with the way you want to construct the portal. See, this part here doesn't have a perfect 4 side, but you can kind of simulate it by placing a block and creating it like this. Another strategy is that you can scoop the water back and bring it down so that you can fill out the parts at the bottom, such that when you remove the water, you can complete the portal quicker. If there are no lava pools near your village, what you can also alternatively do is perform something called a lava dig down. All you do is just send it, dig straight down, and pay attention to the sounds of lava. This is where I would recommend players to enable in-game subtitles for all parts of the game. As you can see, the built-in Minecraft subtitles can not only tell you there is lava nearby, but also the direction. These underground lava pools sometimes require a bit of fixing to create, but they work. Just make sure you don't forget to bring water down with you. Also, village blacksmiths have a chance of containing 10 obsidian outright, which allows you to instantly create a nether portal the moment you get your flint and steel. Congratulations, you just played a village seed. In my humble opinion, village seeds are good only when you have a blacksmith. There are ways to play villages without a blacksmith, but these routes are quite dated and aren't really relevant when compared to other, much more common seed types that we will cover shortly. For now, with villages, just focus on finding the blacksmith. Try your best to route for gravel and lava, and you'll see your success boom. At the end of this video, I'll also give you some tips and tricks for all different seed types, including villages, so stay tuned for some more tricks later on. The next seed type we'll be looking at are Desert Temple seeds. Now, the Desert Temple is an interesting structure that is quite rare, only spawning in deserts, but can be used to begin a run. These seeds are not really meta in random seed runs, but are quite common in ranked games, so they are relevant to talk about. Like I said, you can only find these structures within deserts, but the key problem with the desert biome is that it lacks trees. You can't get wood for your speedrun, which is a massive problem. Which is why the only circumstance where a desert temple seed is playable is if there is an adjacent biome that has plenty of trees for you. You start this seed by going straight for the temple first. Don't worry about wood, we need the temple first. Jump straight in from any of the side entrances and make your way to the lower center of the interior. Here, specifically break one of the side sandstones with your fist. It'll take a moment, then drop down without touching the pressure plate beneath. There's 9 TNT underneath here as a trap, but the strategy is to break the block under the pressure plate. This will drop the pressure plate, so grab it and set off the TNT right below you. Then quickly drop into the TNT and grab all of the 8 remainders and get out of there. Make sure you break the final TNT here after you get up, or else you'll go boom boom. Stay safe and watch as all 4 chests simultaneously break and pick up all of the items. You should practice this a couple times to get it right. Maybe try out different TNT explosion setups as well. Try to find the one that works best for you. Here you can get iron as well as diamonds to potentially make a diamond pick and save some iron pieces. If you don't get enough iron or diamonds, just reset the seed right here. You'll notice immediately that you'll obtain a lot of blocks from this method, which actually saves a lot of time for Minecraft speedruns. Blocks allow you to route seeds better, being able to build bridges and clutch on walls. While not an essential piece of the run, having more blocks in a speedrun almost always results in time saves throughout the run. This is the main strength of the Desert Temple seed. Now, build your way out of the temple and run your way back to the trees. Screw chopping them down, now you can blow them up with your free TNT and grab a lot of wood immediately. You can also blow up gravel for your flint, even blow up gravel underwater by placing a pressure plate and the TNT right above it, creating an air pocket for the explosion. The rest of this seed is played the same as the village. Find lava and enter. Now, Desert Temple seeds are good, but the main weakness is the same as in the village. The problem is finding lava, in addition to the fact that it's kinda rare to get fully perfect iron from the Desert Temple itself, coupled with the fact that you usually don't get that much food either. Sometimes with Desert Temple seeds you'll have to resort to getting some food from animals, and this can be done by lighting them on fire with your flint and steel and quickly killing them for directly cooked meat. Overall, you can play Desert Temple seeds in random runs, but you'll most likely be encountering these in ranked games, as they usually only give enough iron in ranked anyways. The third seed type we're looking at is the Rune Portal seed. For random solo speedruns, this is arguably the most rare seed type. Rune portals are essentially broken nether portals that have withered away and are usually missing multiple pieces of the portal. Each obsidian piece in the portal can also spawn as a crying obsidian instead, making the portal not functional or completable. So, for a rune portal seed to be playable, the portal itself must not spawn with any crying obsidian within the portal frame, as well as having enough obsidian in its chest to complete it. Alternatively, some rune portals spawn with lava pools, which counts as a lava pool enter. In ranked, these rune portals will always be good enough for a nether enter. The make or break moment for this seed is always the chest. Some rune portals don't even spawn with a chest, making it an instant reset as well, so if there is a chest, run up to your rune portal and just check it right away. There's a lot you can get from these chests actually. You can get gold carrots, which is one of the best foods in the game, gold as well as gold armor, tools to help you in the run, as well as iron, flint or flint and steel, as well as fire charges which act as flint and steel but just have a one-time use. If you get enough iron to complete the lava portal, or enough obsidian and something to light the portal with, then you can play this seed. The main problem with rune portal seeds is that you will often not have enough iron for a bucket and a pickaxe, which is why the bulk of these seeds involve you entering the nether without an iron pickaxe. This is something we'll talk about more in the next video, which involves the nether. But for now, given the speed at which you can enter the nether on rune portal seeds, sometimes within a minute and a half and under, you can afford to do this. Use the tools you find in the Rune Portal chest, either a gold pick or gold axe, or any armor you find, and just try to get your resources as quickly as possible. Got a gold axe? Chop a lot of logs. Got a gold pick? Quickly get stone tools. The thing about gold tools is that they have low durability but very fast block breaking speed, so get the most out of them. Also, if you get a gold sword enchanted with looting by any chance, keep it. This is the most broken item in the game, and you'll discover soon in the next videos. Try to use your flint and steel to kill nearby animals if there are any. Grab a few bits of meat because having no food in a run is almost always a horrible decision, especially in Minecraft Ranked. Enter with your food and wood, and you're done. You'd be surprised by how fast these rune portals can be. They're just quite rare to make work, but when they do work, they can be one of the fastest possible seed types. And in the best case scenario, these are the fastest seed types. Now, we've covered most other seed types that you'll be encountering in your RSG runs as well as ranked games, but these last two seed types share something in common. They both begin in the beach, which is why I'll call them the beach seeds. Now, there are two distinct seed types you get from resetting and playing beaches, and the first is the Shipwreck Seed. Now, shipwrecks spawn in oceans, which are obviously accessible since you are spawning on a beach. They are a powerful structure, having both an iron chest and a food chest available for the player, as if the shipwreck itself was a compact mini village, in addition to a chest that has a map which denotes a buried treasure that could be right next to you. Shipwrecks also can spawn as one of three different variants. Full wrecks, which have all three chests, the iron, food, and buried treasure chest. Iron wrecks, which only have the iron chest and the buried treasure chest, as well as food wrecks, which only have the food chest. You guessed it, this one is useless. For each variant, there are three possible orientations of the shipwreck, either right side up, sideways, or upside down for all three. It's also important to note that in Ranked, you will always be playing full wrecks, and in RSG, you should only really play Shipwreck Seeds if it is a full wreck anyways. A key thing to keep track of is also trees, which you will typically be needing on the beach that you're spawning on. The general method for playing a Shipwreck Seed is to first identify where the shipwreck is, if any, and to judge how far it is from the island or beach you spawned on. If a shipwreck is close by, you can simply swim to it and grab the materials before going back to the island and crafting up your tools to gather wood and stone if necessary. In Ranked, it is usually always meta to swim to the shipwreck first, loot it, and swim back to shore in almost every case scenario. Sometimes shipwrecks can give you enough iron to make full iron tools, which can be a great benefit. You can also play the shipwreck purely on its own, since the shipwreck is made of wood. Depending on the type of ship, you can loot the iron chest and make your way to the door that denotes the buried treasure chest room. Here you can grab your starting wood and make your tools. If your shipwreck is lopsided, then you'll need to bank on the fact that the shipwreck has enough iron so you can make an iron pressure plate. This will give you an air bubble that you can swim and crouch into to begin your tool crafting as well. So, here's the catch about this type of seed. Either you got your wood from the shipwreck itself, or you got your wood from the island. At this point, after you've created your tools out of either iron or stone, you need to create now a boat and one set of doors. This is because we are going to enter the Nether through the ocean. I mentioned before in this video that overworlds require either a lava pool or a magma ravine to enter the Nether. Now, magma ravines are interesting in that they typically spawn in deep ocean biomes, but can really spawn anywhere. Sometimes obvious, sometimes not so obvious. But there are methods for finding them. In your game settings, if you increase your render distance, as well as making sure your entity distance is set to 500%, hit F3 plus B to enable hitboxes, which is an unprecedented technique that allows you to see items as well as any other entity like mobs at long distances. Just toggle it on and off whenever you prefer. The reason we want to do this is because magma ravines usually spawn where kelps would have liked to spawn in your world. What happens next is that the kelp that should have been there ends up floating to the surface, giving a visual indicator of where magma may be. Ravines are not the only cause of floating kelp, but if you saw a large amount of kelp floating in the ocean, there's a decent chance you'll find a magma ravine there. Whilst boating in the ocean and looking for magma, you can also go into third-person view with F5 and tilt your camera ever so slightly below your boat. This actually allows you to clip the water level with your camera and view the entire ocean without lighting penalty. This is a great technique to help you locate ravines underwater. Anything we're forgetting though? That's right, gravel. So gravel in oceans is a bit interesting. For cold oceans, the entire ocean floor is gravel, which enables you to just grab it right before you enter the magma ravine, but for warm oceans, gravel is only found on shorelines next to land masses. So in those cases, you should stock up on gravel before you embark on your boat journey. Either way, at this point, you should have all materials handy before beginning your new Magma Portal creation. What's up everybody, Live Mikey is back for our second portal creation of this video, which will be our Magma Portal creation. So, there are two main methods for making a portal in a magma ravine, one of which is utilizing a small L formation in the magma ravine, which is what we will be focusing on first. So whenever you go down into the magma ravine, you want to find a formation like this. This is known as a small L. You can call it like a C or a Pac-Man, whatever you want to call it, but this is what we refer to in the speedrunning community as an L in the magma ravine. Begin by breaking one piece of the L, one of the side pieces, not this corner piece, one of the side pieces from any side. So we'll go ahead and break that. You'll see that the lava below immediately is turned into obsidian. Place one of your 3 doors here in this hole so that you can stand and not have any oxygen penalty, and place the other 2 doors on the back of the L like this. Place 1 block on top of the magma that's right in front of you, and you can choose to offhand your bucket with F or whatever a key you want to associate that with. I'm going to have it not binded just for the sake of showing you how it's done, and then break this magma in front of you. You will see that lava is now accessible. And the thing is that this whole area under the obsidian is composed of lava. The only thing that we're doing is scooping out lava from underneath this magma L to kind of open up space for our portal to be created. So what we will take first is the lava that's directly under the magma we just broke. Place that on the left. Take the lava that was behind that magma you just took and place it on the right. Take this back corner lava that's to the right of that second lava you just picked and place this on the top of the door. As you can see, I can't really right-click it, so you'll have to sneak right-click to place lava on a door. The final piece of lava that you need to take is the lava that's underneath the side magma that is either to the right or the left of the first magma you broke, depending on if you did this L in a different direction. Either left or right still works. You just take the last lava from underneath the side magma. Place 1 block to block off this side so water doesn't continuously spill in. And then mine away the remainder blocks within. As you can see, once you drain the once you drain the water, this portal is now lightable. There is also another method for completing this portal utilizing offhanding. So let me just grab back our doors here, which involves a little bit more precise of a setup, but it is essentially the same thing. Again, and as you can see, it's a different side than the previous one. Again, you place your door, 2 doors, and then you go like this. Place a block here, and then as you break that block, you immediately scoop it by holding right-click, and then you can complete the portal like this. It's a little bit faster to do this offhanded method, but either way, as long as you practice this portal, it should come naturally. Overall, Shipwreck Seeds are great seeds. Just make sure you're always playing full Rex only. You can play Iron Rex in your RSG runs, but you don't have food, and we all know how much of a problem not having food is. So for Shipwreck Seeds, make sure it's a full Rec. Make sure it's close enough to swim towards, because, you know, if you start on the island itself and make a wooden axe and get a boat and doors there, you kind of aren't starting with knowing whether or not the shipwreck is good enough. So in both RSG and Ranked, make sure you're playing a shipwreck that is close enough, loot the shipwreck fully, and determine whether or not you want to play the shipwreck itself or swim back to the island, get all of your wood, craft your boat and doors, and then start searching for magma. Within this time frame, make sure you don't forget to get gravel, and you should be good to enter the nether on this seed. Well everybody, like most videos, I did choose to save the best for last. The true best seed type of all, the buried treasure seed. Now I know what you're saying, didn't we say Shipwrecks had a buried treasure map chest that could direct you to a buried treasure? Well yes, but that takes time, and the reality is that you don't even need that map in order to find these things. Like shipwrecks, buried treasures are also structures that can spawn on their own, and finding one is not that complicated, so hear me out. This step of the tutorial will now depend on your computer's specs, so listen carefully. In the description of this video, I will give you a seed for you to attempt to find a buried treasure on. So boot up this world and follow my steps. Load up the world and go to your settings and change your render distance to something low, like 8. And make sure your entity distance is set to 50%. Lastly, make sure this setting called entity culling is also set to off. This one is important. This is the initial settings setup for finding buried treasures. Immediately, we're going to open up this fancy F3 menu, and this will be the first time we're taking a deep look at it. What we want to perform is Shift F3. So close F3, press Shift F3, and this will open up the Minecraft pie chart. This pie graph might seem like an eyesore, but all we're doing is looking at one specific number. You'll notice that the pie chart by default has this selection of options. Whenever you press a number, you will go to a different directory of the pie chart menu. We specifically want to get to the menu of the pie chart that gives us the information we want. So press 0 enough times to get to the root directory of the pie chart, which is essentially the first menu. From here, press the numbers for Game Renderer, then Level, then Entities, and you will now reach this menu that should be giving you these values. The number we've been trying to access and look at this whole time is the orange number in this menu, known as block entities. Block entities in Minecraft are a variety of types of block. They are mob spawners, things like beehives and signs, but most significantly, block entities also correspond to chests. Now see here, when you open up the pie chart, this block entity value will shift depending on how many block entities are loaded and currently within your FOV. Essentially, when a block entity is close enough and rendered based on your render distance and is somewhere on your screen, the block entity number will increase. To see when it decreases, you just need to refresh it by opening it with Shift F3 again. So, load up this beach world, open up your pie graph to the block entities area that we need, and look at what happens when I pan my screen to the right. You will see that at some point, this number spikes. So, let's similarly do this from the left. Refresh the menu, and you will see that it is also spiking at some point to the left. This is because a chest is showing up somewhere on this side of my screen. The moment the pie graph spikes up is the moment the chest enters your FOV. So what you can essentially do is repeatedly refresh and pan your screen to figure out just where the chest is, based on the fluctuations of the block entity's value. As you can see, based on my scanning, I can tell that there is a block entity somewhere over there. If you're doing this on the practice seed that I offered you, then take note of this spike number that you're currently looking at. This number is based on your computer specs, so if you are looking at a single chest for a block entity, then this is your computer's buried treasure spike number. Every time you try to find a buried treasure, you will receive this number, so keep note of it. My spike number for buried treasure is typically 40 to 50%, but it could be different for you. As you come close, the value may become more apparent and harder to remove. This is where you should press F3 plus G, which enables chunk borders to be visible in the game. Like enabling hitboxes with F3B, F3G can also be toggled on and off. The reason we want to be able to see chunk borders is because buried treasures can only spawn within one single chunk, and this whole process that we're doing is more or less about finding the chunk that the buried treasure spawned in, and then finding the buried treasure itself within that chunk. So, if you're performing these scans and want to pinpoint exactly which chunk the buried treasure is inside, just pan your screen, locate the general location, and make your way to the chunk you think the buried treasure is within. To verify that you are in the chunk of the buried treasure, make your way to the center of the chunk and refresh your pie graph in each of the 4 cardinal directions: north, west, east, and south. You can see that my pie graph remains full when I check all 4 directions around me. This is how you verify that there is a block entity in your current chunk that you are standing in. If one direction doesn't seem to work, then make your way to the chunk in the opposite direction and then do the check again. Keep trying to pinpoint it. Once you verify the chunk, to find the buried treasure, simply open up your F3 menu and look here. Minecraft's F3 menu has a feature that shows not only your coordinates in the world, but also the individual coordinates of the chunk that you are standing within. Every single buried treasure in the entirety of Minecraft always spawns on the chunk coordinate 99. Just remember that. That's the rule. So once you verify there is a buried treasure in that chunk, you can move around to 99 and mine straight down. Boom. It's like magic. And as you can see, the buried treasure chest is the single greatest chest in the game. Not only does it contain iron, it can also have diamonds as well as a plethora of food in the form of fish. Buried treasures can also give you gold for the run as well as TNT, which is absolutely broken. Without a doubt, buried treasures offer the fastest gathering of materials when compared to any other seed type, and the skill of finding these buried treasures quickly will give you a massive advantage in speedrunning. I recommend constantly practicing finding buried treasures. In the long run, this will help you tremendously, and I'll also show you a couple more examples of me doing it. So I just loaded into this world, everybody. Should be a BT somewhere here, so let's just do a little scan. See, it spikes to the right, refresh. See, it spikes to the left, so it's somewhere on that side of the island. Usually, you only need like a couple checks to be able to do this. As you can see, one from the left, one from the right is enough to give you the general location of the BT. And in the first example, we were fortunate enough that the BT spawned on shore, but as you can see, when I check this direction, it's not spiking that way, so it's still further this way, which means that it's likely going to be on the side of the island. The BTs can spawn on the side of islands like this, and an easy way to kind of understand how to see it is that whenever the BT spawns, it always needs to have 4 adjacent blocks around it, and it sometimes creates wonky, funny formations on the side of islands like this. As you can see, this protruding stone is a dead giveaway that there's a BT right here. Quickly grab your materials, make your way back to the island, and just gather your resources as quickly as possible. Have enough gold for a pressure plate, use your gold for it. If you want to save your gold, you have excess iron, make a pressure plate out of iron so that you can utilize your gold for other things. And play your seed. Alright everybody, so for this next example, I'm going to be using a third-party software known as Jingle. Posted right here on the video, and also post a link in the description for you to install it and try it out yourself. And as you can see, Jingle has what are essentially hotkeys for changing the dimensions of your Minecraft window. So for me, I have it set to M, where I can essentially make my screen thin like this. This is known as thin BT, and it's used by advanced speedrunners to pinpoint where buried treasures are with reasonable accuracy. So as you can see, once I go thin, you can see that this works to pinpoint the spike of the BT in such a small radius that makes it relatively easy to figure out where it is. For me, I can probably tell that it's right under here, and it is. As you can see, using thin BT is quite advantageous, and this isn't the only usage of Jingle for the Minecraft speedrun. There are more things that you'll be using it for later on, so I recommend installing it at this point. So, after grabbing your buried treasure, the rest is extremely similar to the Shipwreck Seed. With your resources, gather up your wood, either manually or via the TNT that you obtained. Just make a pressure plate for it, or punch one log for a button that you can use if you don't have excess iron or gold. And like before, make a boat indoors, make sure you get gravel, and directly make your way to a magma ravine. But remember to change your render distance back up, and also make sure your entity distance is back to 500% before you enter the nether. The rest is as previously mentioned. Now, of course, you're probably wondering that if you wanted to find a buried treasure on a random seed, that you will have to constantly change your settings every single time you load up a new world. Well, this is not the case. Remember near the start of the video where I mentioned the mod standard settings? Well, I recommend for you to make sure your standard settings are always set to buried treasure settings, namely the 50% entity distance as well as 8 render, which is what I personally use. More advanced runners typically use 5 render distance, but it is a bit more difficult. In your standard settings mod config file, which you can access here in your Minecraft instance, you can actually make it so you start the world in the specific pie chart menu for block entities, which is a massive quality of life improvement. I recommend you paste exactly this entry in this field so you can start grinding buried treasures easily. And there you have it. We have officially covered all of the possible seed types that speedrunners are expected to know for random runs as well as Minecraft Speedrun Ranked, which I know some people are eager to try. Just a note, in all of these seed types, if you're playing a random seed in RSG, there is always a chance that some chests will not give you the items you require or expect. Even on random runs, things like shipwrecks and villages and buried treasures can literally not give you anything. But in ranked runs, you will always obtain the resources you require. In Minecraft Ranked, they use something known as a seed filter, which specifically generates seeds that guarantee items such as iron in the vast majority of these seeds, as well as making sure there is always a lava pool or magma ravine nearby. So in Ranked, you're always going to get a seed that is, in some way, shape, or form, playable. Stay tuned for the next episode, which will pick up right where we left off, which is the moment we enter the nether. The next episode will perhaps be the most advanced one, so get ready. We've almost reached the total end of the video, and so I thought about concluding these tutorial videos with their own tips and tricks final segment, which will include some tidbits of information that can help different various parts of the run. These are some fancy tricks that you can deploy to play Overworlds quicker and up your potential pace. So without further ado, let's get right into them. Alright everybody, so I'm on this previous BTC that we just played, and I did not give myself the TNT that was in that chest. I mentioned before in the Desert Temple Seed that the main strength of the Desert Temple Seed was the fact that you got a lot of blocks. But the reality is that blocks are pretty much meta no matter the type of seed that you're playing. In this case, since I only have these materials and I have excess iron, the strategy here is to actually make tools out of gold, preserve our iron so that we can create a set of shears. No matter the type of seed that you're playing, be it a village or shipwreck or buried treasure, or even in the cases of ruined portals, but in ruined portals you don't really want to dump your iron into shears, you always should make shears. If you ever have more iron than 7, which is 2 more than 7, so at least 9, if you ever have at least 9 iron, it is optimal and always meta to create shears. With shears, you will tap leaf blocks and pick up all of them as a buildable block in your run. You should always do this. Alright, so what's up everybody? I just finished looting this desert temple. I got my water, got my blocks, but there is one glaring issue about this seed right now, and it's the fact that I don't know where the hell I'm gonna get flint from. Flint sometimes, more so on Desert Temple seeds, but this could also happen in Village seeds. Flint sometimes is pretty hard to find. The rivers aren't always that visible. So in these cases where you don't want to waste time trying to find a river, you can create something called a Woodlight Portal. It's very similar to the first portal creation of this video that I showed in the desert, in the Village seed. But basically what you want to do is create a small L shape into the lava pool and create your portal frame out of wood. Create your portal as such. Oops, small mistake. Drain your water, and then fill in the back of the portal with wood, as well as these upper two blocks right next to the two that you have placed there. Also, set your difficulty to hard, and the reason why you do that is because fire spreads more easily on the hard difficulty. You want to surround this wood with lava, and at some point over time, the portal will catch fire. All you need is that little bit of ignition to get the portal running. Of course, it kind of simulates what would happen if you used a flint and steel on the portal. This is a last resort type of method, and you should only do this if you know for a fact that there is no flint nearby. As you can see very shortly, it should catch, and there you go. Just make sure lava doesn't prohibit your ability to get in, and scoop lava and enter the nether that way. Through and grab this buried treasure. At this point, I want you to kind of get into the habit of getting used to clearing your inventory. Throughout the course of the Minecraft speedrun, you are going to be picking up a lot of different items that aren't needed. For example, when I blow up this tree over here, you're going to see that I pick up a bunch of stuff that isn't necessarily wood or stuff that I would need. As you can see in one of these things, as I'm picking up this stuff, I get a couple of types of saplings, and it's important to get into the habit of clearing out your inventory. As you can see, I picked up all these things. I'm going to immediately craft this stuff and then boom boom, toss away those couple saplings because they're totally unnecessary. You might think that it's a little bit less important to do that, but it's actually much more important than you may think. I have two different types of swords. I'll toss away the extra sword. Toss away extra blocks that I don't need. Stuff like this. It's very important to get into the habit of inventory management, and this will come up very, very prominently in the next tutorial episode when we are in the nether, because then you're going to have an inventory full of different various things. Another thing that I want to mention to you is the sheer annoyance of finding magma in the ocean. Like I mentioned before that kelp was a good indicator of where magma ravines may be, but it's a little bit difficult to always find the kelp right away. So if you're playing a shipwreck seed or a buried treasure seed, the moment you loot your shipwreck or your buried treasure, quickly change your settings back up so that you can kind of start looking at where kelps can be preemptively before you play the seed out. Right now I can't really see kelp, but as long as I raise my render distance and my entity distance all the way back up, as I'm going towards this tree to break it, as you can see being in third person, I'm already kind of looking at my surroundings. This is a good method and a good strategy to preemptively try and locate kelp before you embark on your boating journey, and this will also help you pick the direction you want to boat towards, and you can kind of come up with that as you're doing your crafting and such. Alright, so I mentioned previously in this video that there were two main methods for creating portals in a magma ravine, one of which was utilizing a small L formation like thus, but the other method actually utilizes just a small 2x1 formation of magma, just a small line of it. Let's assume that there wasn't a magma piece here and a magma piece here. We're only going to make a portal utilizing these two pieces of magma. So how we do this is we place one block on this side, one block here like thus, a door here, and two of our remaining doors over here. Offhand your bucket, and then break this block and immediately scoop the piece of lava while replacing this block with a block that isn't a leaf, if that makes sense. Like this. Place your door back here, and then place one of the lava pieces. Again, scoop. If you break this dirt block, you scoop the block of lava that should be positioned behind it. There. And now scoop the block that's under the other magma. Don't break it from above, break it down here. You will be here like this. If you place the block where you're standing, you will be forced to be in this prone position, and then merely take the remainder corner lava piece. Drain your water, and you're done. Now, as you can see, I am not very good at making this portal, so I encourage you to practice this portal creation on your own, because once you master this portal, it actually is a few seconds faster than the average L lava portal creation. 2x1 is quicker, but it is more mechanically intensive. So I do encourage you to try it out on your own and see if it works for you. Alright, so I'm here on this practice map for portals, which I'll also put a link in the description for you to install. Try out on your own. But basically, this is a map that allows you to practice any kind of portal in the game. And the reason why I want to get on this map is because I want to show you the cases of when you're in a magma ravine and the lava is only one block deep. We did make the lava portals in the magma earlier in this video utilizing lava that was 2 blocks deep, but sometimes you're not so lucky. Sometimes this lava will be 1 block deep, and as you can see, the moment you take your first lava, it's going to be stone underneath. The idea is that you still want to complete the portal normally, but these 2 stones below need to be replaced with lava. So you can grab additional side lava pieces that you can reach ever so slightly at the edge, and then listen to when the stone breaks and fill it in. See? Take another block and fill in the other. Just like that. Grab some additional side lava pieces and fill in the portal normally. This is also going to be the case for 2x1s, but I am very, very bad at doing 1 deep 2x1 portals that I'm not even going to presume to try and tell you how to do this efficiently. But you should try and learn this eventually on your own. But yeah, this 2x1 is pretty tough, but yeah. And with that, I believe I have covered essentially every single thing that you need to know about Overworlds in Minecraft speedrunning. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if I should change anything with the next tutorial, or let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I would love to hear the feedback. Like I said, this is the first ever tutorial video that I've ever created, and I know I talked a lot about stuff. It is quite a long video, but I had a lot of fun making it. With that being said, thank you so much, and I will see you in the next episode, which will be the Nether and Bastions. Much love, everybody. Thank you so much, and take care. And good luck speedrunning. Woo!